Hi, welcome to our first flip lesson of the year. I actually really like this day, really like this lesson. I'm kind of upset I'm missing it, but whatever. Here we go. Tomorrow we're going to have a double note check, all right, double homework check, excuse me, double homework check tomorrow. We're going to get a graded assignment on Friday, all right, that's to replace a quiz that we were going to take. You'll have a graded assignment, obviously. Same deal as the last one. You can use your notes, you can use your homework, all right, you can use anything. Today's song of the day. Well enough. All right, it's well day today. Well is kind of a review from last year. All right, well means writing equations of lines. Okay. To get your minds going, I want you to try this. All right, so pause the video. Try to find the slope of the altitude from L to JK. So hopefully you actually pause that video. So remember, when you find the slope of the altitude, our first step. Oh buckets, there we go. Our first step is to actually find the slope of JK. So to find the slope of JK, we use our Martini table. Equals 10 minus -5. Remember, when you subtract a negative, you add. All right. And then 1 minus 4. So 10 plus 5, that gives me 15. 1 minus 4 gives me -3. So my slope is -5. All right. Step 2 was to take the opposite reciprocal of -5. The opposite reciprocal of -5 is our perpendicular slope should be +1 over 5. So that is the slope of our altitude. All right. Again, today is well day. Get it? There's a well. All right, well day, writing equations of lines. There are some formulas that we need to review, all right, to make sure that we have written down. All right. So first one, the midpoint formula, we talked about this yesterday. You average your x values and average your y values. Remember, it doesn't matter which one you call x1 and y1, as long as you stay consistent, okay? Remember to find the slope. That's m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x. Oh, buckets. I'm going to skip the distance formula for today. All right, we'll come back to that tomorrow. It's going to be hard to write with my finger, so we'll come back to that one. All right, slope-intercept form. Okay, slope-intercept form is a form that you guys talked about last year. All right, a lot of us want, when I asked for the slope, you guys said y equals mx plus b. Well, that is actually our slope-intercept form. Why is it called slope-intercept form? Because if you look at the equation, you can identify your slope, which is m, and identify your y-intercept, which is your b, easily. All right. Now there's this other form that we're going to talk about called point slope form. Point slope form is actually a lot easier, okay, to use than slope intercept form. At least I feel, okay. You'll actually like it a lot more, and it looks like this. It's y. You may have seen this last year. I'm not 100% sure. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. All right, where x1 and y1 are an ordered pair that are on your actual, that's an actual point that lies on your line. So x1 and y1 can change right here. These can change as well as the slope, but the actual y and the x here, this x and that y, all right, won't change, just as this x and that y won't change in slope-intercept form, okay? So let's put this into action, okay? Write the equation line of AB in slope-intercept form. All right, so I know I'm in slope-intercept form. I'm going to write y equals blank x plus blank. The first thing we should do is find our slope. Find m. That's our first step. So to find m, x1, we use our Martini table, x1, y1, x2, y2. If at any point you feel like this is going too fast, feel free to rewind the video. That's the beauty of these videos. You can rewind it and watch it as many times as you want. All right. So to find m, I do y2 minus y1. That's 10 minus 4 over negative 2 minus 2. 10 minus 4, that's 6. Negative 2 minus 2 is negative 4. Okay, negative 2 minus 2 is negative 4. You reduce that, always reduce, reuse, recycle. So m is negative 3 over 2. Okay, so I can plug that in, negative 3 over 2. The next step when you're talking about slope-intercept form is to find b. Okay, now remember, all right, some of us may say, oh, b's 4 or b's 10. Okay, but remember, when you have b, which is your y-intercept is written as 0, comma, b, whatever that b value is. All right, that's your y-intercept. So if I look at this equation here, if I look at these 2 points, neither of these 2 points have an x value of 0, so I cannot assume that either of those are my actual y-intercept. So what am I going to do? I'm going to use one of these 2 points. I'm going to use 2, 4 and my slope here to help me find out what my b actually is. So what does that mean? So what does that look like? I'm going to write down y equals mx plus b. All right, remember I'm solving for b. Let's give me some more space here. So one of my points was 2, 4. So I'm going to take 4 and replace y with 4. I know my slope is negative 3 over 2. My x value is 2, and I'm trying to find b. Okay? The 2 is my x. The 4 is my y. All right, and I knew the slope from the last problem. So this is just algebra. Solve for b. All right, 4 stays the same. Negative 3 over 2 times 2 is negative 3 plus b. Add 3 to the other side. You should get b equals 7. And then write it in your equation. So that would be the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. All right. Point-slope form is a lot easier than slope-intercept form. Okay, in point-slope form, all you need to do is find the slope. So our only step, our slope-intercept form looks, or point-slope form, excuse me, looks like this. X1 and Y1 are points on our graph, or on our line, so we can use this point or this point, it doesn't matter. But we do have to still, our first step is still to find m. So we got to find our slope. To find our slope, we do m equals 0 minus 6 over negative 6 minus 3, which is negative 6 over negative 9, which equals negative 2 over, or excuse me, positive 2 over 3. Oh boy, negative 6 over negative 9. Negatives cancel. 2 over 3. All right, so now this is where it gets a little, this is the new part here. Okay, so here's my slope. So I have y minus y1 equals 2 over 3 x minus x1. And I said that x1 and y1 are points on your line. So I have 2 points on my line. I have 3, 6, and I have 3, 6, and negative 6, comma 0. All right, so I'm going to choose the first one. You could also choose the second one. I'm going to plug in my, oh, buckets. I'm going to plug in 3 for my x1 and 6 for my y1. All right, so that'll look like this. Y minus 6 equals 2 over 3 times x minus 3. And then stop. That's it. That's all you have to do. You're finished, okay? Because x is, or excuse me, y is 6 and x is 3. And we know that our slope has a value of 2 over 3. That's point slope form because I can see the slope and I can see a point on that actual line. You could have plugged in negative 6 here, so this would have been x plus 6 and y minus 0 as well. That also works, okay? Either one, it's up to you. I accept both answers. Both answers are correct. Okay, write the equation of the line from the median from L to JK. All right, write the equation of the line from the median from L to JK. And if it doesn't tell you whether it should be in point slope form or slope intercept form, you can go ahead and do point slope form. It's the easiest one. So when we're finding a median, the first step we have to do, if you recall from yesterday, we need to find the midpoint of JK. Right? I'm going to call that, you can call that, no, let's not call that M, that'd be confusing. Let's call that H. All right, H. So H equals the average of our x's, -1 plus 3 over 2, and the average of our y's, 10 plus -5 over 2. So H is -3 over 2. Oh, this is going to give me a decimal. That's all right. 1 comma 2.5. Shoot, I don't like decimals for this. Okay, so that's fine. So our midpoint is 1 comma 2.5. All right, don't write it as a fraction. It's an actual ordered pair. The next step here is to find the slope from L, so from our point to our midpoint, from our vertex to our midpoint. So to find the slope between L and H, we do M equals 6 minus 2.5 over 5 minus 1. All right. And again, that kind of stinks that this is a decimal, but we're going to battle. That's 3.5 over 4. All right. Last step, put in point slope form. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. I'm going to use L because it's not the actual decimal answer. So L was, what was L? 5 comma 6. L is 5, 6. All right, so this will be y minus 6 equals 3.5 over 4 times x minus 5. And don't try to solve, just leave it. This is your answer. That's all you have to do. All right, that's your fine. That's all you need to do. Leave it like that. Okay? The median one's a little bit tougher than the altitudes. All right, let's look at the altitude. At the beginning of class, we found the actual slope of JK, and we found the slope of the altitude. So again, your first step would be to find M of JK, but we did that already, of JK, which was, remember, it equaled -5, I believe, right? Yeah, -5. All right, so the next step was to find our perpendicular slope, which is the slope of our altitude, which would be 1 over 5. That was what we did at the beginning of class. Okay, so I'm just going to use that information to help me complete this problem. Find M, find the slope of JK. Okay, oh boy. So that's find M of JK. All right, so our third step is just going to put in point slope form. Y minus y1 equals M times x minus x1. And remember, this is drawn from L to JK, right? I have no idea what this actual point is. I can't assume that it's the midpoint, all right? So the point that I need to be using for this equation is L. I need to use 5 comma 6 when I plug into point slope form here, all right? So if my point is 5 comma 6, so that becomes y minus 6 equals 5 times x minus 5. And that's all you have to do. Just leave it in that, or excuse me, that should be 1/5, my fault. That should be 1/5. All right, just leave it in that form. Don't try to solve for y. All right, it makes your life a lot harder. I mean, if you did solve for y, you would get y equals 1/5 x plus 7. But that's too much work. Just leave it like that. All right, your homework again is those highlighted problems on the worksheet that should have been passed out to you. If you have any questions, try to rewatch this video. I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be able to answer any questions that you have. We're having a double note check tomorrow.